Good afternoon. We'd like to introduce to you Miss Jordan, Williamsburg Christian Academy's new Spanish teacher. How did you come to realize that God was leading you into teaching?
Actually, all through elementary school and junior high and high school, I wanted to be a doctor very much. So I set my course for that and hadn't really done a lot of praying about it and had decided that God clearly wanted me to do that because I had wanted to do that all my life. And about my senior year of high school, a lot of crazy things happened in my life that made me question really who I knew God to be and how I understood Him to work. So I decided that He was actually leading me towards a Bible college up in Wisconsin. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for 1 year and I'm gonna give that to God and then I'll go do my doctor thing. But when I got there, I started on this ministry team and we went and taught English to Hmong refugees from Thailand. And it completely changed everything I ever knew about myself and about what I wanted to do. And I ended up changing my major from pre-med, what it was going to be, and then I was then English ed. And so it was just through the experience of teaching the children from Thailand that I realized that I really enjoyed teaching and that it was a huge passion in my life.
How did you learn Spanish?
I started learning Spanish in high school. I had a great Spanish teacher. She was from Colombia and she really emphasized the speaking of the language. So my homework was pretty intense and I spent a lot of time with it, but languages really have been a hobby for me. So I didn't just learn Spanish, I learned Portuguese and sign language, and then I studied Hebrew and Arabic and other languages, even French, just for fun because I'm kind of nerdy like that. So I ended up with a lot of languages that I've dealt with, although I'm only fluent in Spanish and Portuguese.
So have you had any international experiences?
Sí, yo he visitado México, Brasil, Francia, España y Marruecos, y creo que es muy importante que estudiantes de español puedan viajar para obtener fluencia en la idioma. Y gracias a Dios que podía tener estas oportunidades para viajar y practicar mi español.
What is your philosophy of education?
The Lord has really blessed to allow me to have quite a lot of Christian teachers, and I'm really thankful for that. It has really shaped the way that I view the world and obviously my relationship with the Lord. So I would say that first, my philosophy starts with God Himself and in making sure that my students see the connection between language and the gospel, that learning a language is really an act of love because it puts yourself outside of how you normally think, to think in the way that someone else thinks. And then from there to be able to jump off from that point and share the gospel with them is incredibly important. And so when it comes to teaching language, that's where it starts for me. It really starts with the love of God and love of the gospel, and from there, this huge world of multifaceted languages that connect and interconnect, and it's very exciting for me. But education in general also has, I believe, connections to the gospel, and it's very important to me that my students can first see that Christ is in me and that I come to class every day prepared to live the gospel in front of them and to show them that love, and then beyond that, to be prepared to teach the lessons that I have for them. So I hope and pray that He would use me in that way, and that my life would be a reflection of what He's done in me, and not just I'm up there talking every day and sharing information, but that I really am helping make connections back to the Word of God.
What are your plans for the coming semester?
That's a good question. I know a lot of people have that question, especially since it's the middle of the year. I want to be very sensitive to the fact that the students are very used to the way that Mrs. Wilson has done things. So for this semester especially, just about everything will stay as much the same as it possibly can. I do have plans to visit her classroom in the coming weeks and see how she does things. Aside from incorporating as much speaking as possibly can, and I believe she does a lot of that, I don't really have any plans to change anything. And so I would ask the students and the parents and the teachers to be patient with me as I try to get into the groove, but that's the plan for this coming semester especially.
How do you foresee changes in the following year?
That's a really difficult question to answer. I haven't stepped into the classroom yet, so I'm not sure what the situation will be by the end of the year. So I think I'd like to take it one day at a time, one semester at a time, and just see what the Lord allows. And especially what the students will need and where we'll need to go from there.
Thank you for answering our questions, and we look forward to having you as a teacher in the future.
It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for your time.